For tonight's episode, this is a trigger warning. There is SA, abuse towards children, animal abuse, and murder.
The Late Night Legends podcast is meant for a mature audience. Topics covered may be violent or sexual in nature and are not suitable for sensitive listeners. Please be aware of your surroundings. For specific trigger warnings, please see the episode's show notes. Testimony shared by guests of this show are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Late Night Legends hosts or staff. This podcast and any linked materials should not be considered medical or professional advice, nor is the information a substitute for the expertise or treatment from a professional. Listener discretion is advised. Watch out.
Welcome to Late Night Legends, the finest content on the interwebulous stratosphere. My name is Charlie, and I had to read that. And I'm here with my co-hosts.
And I'm being forced to read this.
Forced to read that. I'm here with my co-hosts, Kimberler, Tim, Maria, Joan, and tonight Colin will be reading us his excellent topic. He's going to make us a sucker for this topic. Again, I have to read this contractually. The topic about Peter Kürten, the vampire of Dusseldorf. But first, we have some announcements. Joan.
Thank you. So I just want to say for our lineup, for our next two episodes coming up, and we're already in the month of February at that time, we're going to be talking about Idaho's Ghostly Tales with Tim, and then I am going to be presenting a Valentine's Day kind of special. So bring your lover, because we're going to talk about incubus and succubus. So fun times there. I would also like to say I myself was a guest on a friend's podcast called Crimes, Cults, and Coffee. And she's actually coming back from a long maternity leave. So to get her started back up, I'd love if you would swing on over there and listen to the first of two episodes I'm on. This one is about a haunted road in New Jersey, as well as a zoo that probably shouldn't have been there. So if you want to go check that out, that'd be great. I will put that in the description as well. Crimes, Cults, and Coffee. And also, I think that's it. Do we have any other announcements, my friends? Cool. I think we have one more important one, and I'm just going to hand it over to Colin.
Sure. Quick disclaimer for tonight's episode. To begin with, a large portion of what follows is based on Peter Kürten's confessions from 1930. He confessed to a journalist as he was awaiting execution. So take a lot of what you hear tonight with a grain of salt. But also, it's important to take note that this is very much the sugar-coated version of it. It will be triggering it sometimes, but it is much, much worse in real life. This is very much dumbed down for to make it more digestible for people that don't want to have to read the horrible, horrible news articles I had to read. So that's that. So I'll start off with, hey, Joan.
Hey.
You want to go to Wisconsin?
Sure. Yes, I do.
Okay, because we can go to the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum and see a severed head.
Oh.
Yeah. We can actually see the severed head of a man in Wisconsin. And
does it have the cheese hat on it?
It unfortunately, I doubt he could wear a cheese hat. It is actually split in half. This way.
That would be difficult to wear hats. You were correct. Thank you.
Yeah, you probably wear two hats at once. But
whoa, that's real fancy.
Yeah.
Super talented, wears many hats.
Yes, yeah, exactly. He pulls that one off. But why would you want to see a head like that, you may ask?
Why would I want to see a head like that?
It is the head of a criminal, and they wanted to literally get inside of his head. So once he was dead, they cut it in half and wanted to see what made him tick.
So this is like an actual head. We're not talking like Tussauds Wax Museum head.
Nope, this is his actual mummified, vivisected head.
Oh.
So, Colin, quick question. Should I be concerned that your last two topics have been about the cranium?
Yeah.
Yes, you
Okay.
should. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Noted. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
In a staff meeting.
Yes, a staff meeting with a lot of red tape involved. So that head belongs to a man named Peter Kürten. Peter Kürten was a serial killer, sexual predator, and cannibal who terrorized Dusseldorf and the surrounding area for 17 years in the early 20th century. He killed at least 9 people and attempted to murder at least another 31 people. So he's, he's pretty prolific at it, pretty good at it, I'd say. If you're going to do something, do it well.
No, do that not well. But
Well,
yeah, sure.
That's probably one of us, but
Yeah.
Does anybody here, though, when you're like, he's a prolific serial killer, and how many did he get? 9. He almost got 30, though.
Yeah,
Well-
31 misses. I mean,
Well, like in soccer terms, that's like 9 goals and
that's-
30 assists.
yeah,
So
that's like a whole season in soccer terms.
and like this is me like talking like I know what soccer is.
you're so continental.
Football.
yeah, football. It's
Yeah.
German, so. So Peter was born into extreme poverty in Germany in 1883. He was the third of 13 children, and he grew up in an incredibly toxic household. His father was abusive and an alcoholic, and he was imprisoned for abusing his sister. It's probably a lot worse than that, given the era that this took place, and that stuff wasn't really reported and certainly wasn't acted on as much as it would be today. But by age 9, Peter had a couple of red flags of his own. At one point, he was trying to drown one of his friends, and another child attempted to stop him. So Peter did the reasonable thing and drowned both of them.
Oh.
Yeah, the deaths were ruled accidental, but let's be serious. Somebody should have said
What?
something's wrong with Pete at this point, but nobody really did. He's kind of just left to himself after that. He befriended the local dog catcher, and the local dog catcher taught Peter to enjoy torturing and killing animals. So,
Wait.
yeah.
What's the one serial killer who was a dog catcher as well? BTK?
Was he a dog catcher?
I think he was. I think that's like how he got into some of the properties.
Oh, that makes sense.
Was it
Maybe-
BTK? No.
Hey, there's a it's like an apprenticeship program.
Oh no. No. Bad. Don't like.
So he developed this taste for torturing and killing animals, which led him to engage in some acts with local farm animals. He would I see Joan's face. Joan knows what it is.
It's like the sheep with the Yule Boys all over again.
I've got to. Yeah, I really should. I do
Colin,
therapy.
I was really hoping that's not what you meant.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
what it is. That's exactly what it is. He did actually stop though when he was caught stabbing a pig, stabbing with a knife though. So
Thanks for clarifying.
he's making schnitzel, But as he grew older, so did his tastes grow more violent and more bizarre. At 13, he ran away from home and started an affair with a prostitute who was 2 years his senior. And the two of them stole everything not nailed down in their vicinity. And eventually they got caught, and he was in prison for a month for petty theft. Following that, he did a 4-year prison sentence for fraud and attempted murder with a firearm. For most people, that's where the story ends. Go to prison 4 years. That's not exactly easy. But he didn't learn his lesson. So that was not the end of it. That was barely even the beginning of it, as a matter of fact. When he got out, he joined the German army, but deserted shortly after because committing crimes was was definitely more his thing than being in the army listening to orders all day. So he started setting fires just to watch the chaos as the firefighters tried to put them out. He also once stated that he hoped that as he set the fires, there were sheep inside of the barns that he would like to set on fire. So, not a nice dude.
No.
Not a good guy.
I mean, like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Why? Why specifically sheep?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's a
They
big
broke his heart.
Oh, no.
The one that got away.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was rearrested then, and this time charged with arson and desertion, and sentenced to prison for 8 years this time. So again, he's got the opportunity to learn a lesson. Nope, we're not getting into it. We barely even gotten into the story. It hasn't even started the vampire stuff yet. So vampire Dusseldorf's he's got a long way to go before he gets there.
Oh yeah, that.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So he started to get a little bit bigger, and so did his issues. So as an adult, he decided to just dive headfirst into the straight up horror movie behavior that he would become famous for. While he was in prison, he did describe having fantasies resulting from the severe punishments he received in prison. He did state that he intentionally acted out trying to receive these punishments. I won't go into further detail. There is a lot of detail. If anyone is interested, you can look it up yourselves. I won't be discussing it.
Thank you, Colin.
You're welcome. He also began to fantasize about causing widespread chaos and terror against the society outside, a society he'd come to hate, that he felt had wronged him from the day he was born. Not long after his release, and this is where the trigger warning does come in.
Oh, this is where the trigger warning starts.
It gets so much worse.
It was only bad before if you were a lamb, and now
or that poor pig, yeah,
or a pig,
yeah. Not long after his release, he broke into a tavern and found a 9-year-old girl asleep in her bed. He strangled her and then slit her throat. And again, there is more detail that I will not read. It is terrible. He later admitted that it brought him pleasure. He remained in the area to gleefully listen to the locals discuss the murder. He actually sat at a bar across the street from the tavern he'd broken into, ordered a beer just to listen to the locals discuss how horrific the murder was.
That is something very common, though, that most murderers will return to the scene to see what's going on.
That's true, but this guy is a couple levels of creepy above that.
Yeah.
Because he repeatedly visited the girl's grave. Like, it doesn't say how many times, but he said he took pleasure in just visiting her grave after that. So, yeah, not a normal guy.
No.
A few months go by, and he does the same thing again. He breaks into a tavern, and this time attacks a 17-year-old girl. She managed to survive, but he got caught this time. So that's great. He got convicted.
Charlie, thumbs up that one.
Yeah, that is a thumbs up point.
And that's the end of the story, right? We're done?
No,
that's great.
No, we haven't even gotten to the vampire stuff yet, guys.
Oh my god.
But he was convicted, but not for the murder. He was.
What?
It was another arson conviction. So he was sentenced to 6 years. But he liked being naughty in prison, so he got his sentence extended by 2 more years. So it's probably exactly what he wanted, but still ended up getting released. And you'll never guess what he did when he got released.
He lived a great life as a citizen, and the reason he's called a vampire is because he donates blood all the time.
Yep.
And they're like, wow, what a great guy.
Yeah. Wait, doesn't Frank donate blood?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I don't know if it's true, but I'm saying it.
We're on to you, Franklin.
No, I don't want to accuse him of this. This seems bad.
He's not
That's
here to
true.
defend himself. We probably shouldn't say anything. But
Writes
what he re-
defamation all over the place.
but what he really did was more crime. He did a lot more crime, but he did ease back into it this time. So he got married. He married the owner of a candy shop named Augusta Scharf, and she had a couple skeletons of her own. She was a convicted prostitute.
Oh, I was gonna say the one in her body. That's that one.
No, different skeletons. She was a
Okay.
convicted
Skull within a
prostitute.
skull.
Oh yeah, and she shot and killed her fiance. So they're kind of a murder power couple. And
Jeffrey Dahmer also worked at a chocolate factory, so he's
So again, I think we're connecting the dots. There is some sort of serial killer apprenticeship program.
yeah.
Yeah, find a
No.
hobby you can do with your loved one, you know?
Charlie,
Yeah.
Charlie, think about what you said.
Hey, the couple that slays together stays
No.
together.
Hey.
Yeah.
Put that on a t-shirt right now.
Can that be the Late Night Legends motto?
Yeah, sure.
For the couples that are in the group.
Well,
Yes.
yes, for
All
yes.
the couples that are watching. How about
Yeah. So they're sort of happily married. He was caught cheating with two of the maids, and
They have maids
they had maids.
Two
I
of
don't-
them.
on a candy store.
on a
salary?
candy store. Yeah, on the income a candy store
Dang.
brings, they had maids.
Wow.
So his wife
Okay.
convinced one of the maids to accuse Peter of SA in order to make his actions criminal. Yeah, it worked. He went back to jail, but just for 8 months though.
Oh.
I'm kidding. It was 6 months on the grounds that he would leave Dusseldorf. He didn't. So that's great. So back to his old tricks. He stalked and ambushed a woman and dragged her into some bushes. And he stabbed her 24 times with a sharpened pair of scissors, sometimes hitting her so deeply that he struck her bones. She managed to survive her assault and would later go on to be a part of his confession, and they hadn't connected her to any of his crimes until later on because she didn't immediately report it.
Not to interrupt you, Francisco is in the chat. He has entered the chat and he says, I do donate blood. You can say it. We said it.
We said
Okay.
it.
That's not the part that I was saying
Yeah,
that we
was-
shouldn't say.
That wasn't the issue.
Kay says, welcome, Francisco.
I'm struggling with this topic because
You don't like
am
being stabbed with scissors? Same,
I'm
Yeah.
girl.
so uncomfortable that I want to crack jokes and make light of the situation, but I also feel so terrible about cracking jokes.
I think you can make
Crack
fun
the jokes.
of the guy because he's just a poopy head. So
And fun
Stabbed him.
points. He did
Like,
have a Hitler
oh.
mustache. So make fun of that. There you go.
Ooh.
Yeah. Nice guy all around.
And Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what we all think of when we see that mustache.
Yeah.
Charlie Chaplin.
That's why it's so popular these days.
It's good for catching
And
boogies.
in his times, it kind of was, though, back then, right?
Well, yeah, apparently so. But he later attacked again, killed at least two more women in short succession, returning to the scene just as he had before. But this time, he stuck around to talk to the police. And he lied to them and said that he overheard the gossip about the murder over the telephone, a device he had at that point, according to one source I read, never used. So I'm not sure what he thought the telephone would do for him, but the cops didn't catch on that this weird guy was just hanging around a murder scene and talking about how he knew all about it. I imagine he was wearing like a fake mustache or something. I mean, maybe he was just wearing the rest of the mustache.
Just like cut some hair.
Maybe he just
and
had
added it.
glasses on, like Clark Kent and Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the big fake nose or something too.
Yeah.
But
He wore Guccio glasses? Is that what you're suggesting?
yeah, I mean,
Oh, fair. Okay.
yeah,
No, fair.
why not? Yeah.
I do like to think that he thinks that the telephone is some type of like Ouija board like thing, and you just like pick it up, and like someone's on the other end, just like a radio, I guess. Like almost like, here's the story of the day, sir.
But maybe he was ahead of his time, and he just thought he had like read it or something, and
Ooh.
got it off the phone that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But
Yeah. Feels like he would be on 4chan, so.
yeah, no, he's definitely got a 4chan vibe, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's
But-
the stash.
Yeah. Later on, he would attack, dismember, and crucify the remains of a woman. He hid her body in the woods and nailed her to a tree. And this is when he really started with the vampirism. He claimed that he had drank so much of her blood that he became physically ill. And he actually wrote a confession about this one and sent it to the police with a map to her remains so that her remains would be found. They didn't find him right away either. They just kind of dragged their feet on it because he wasn't, at this point, he wasn't the big scary guy. Should have been. I mean, if somebody tells me that they've killed somebody and put their body in the woods, I'm jumping on that. That's.
Did he send it anonymously, or did he actually put his name on it?
He did send it anonymously.
Okay.
But it'll come back around. It does help catch him in the end. After that, he actually went on a stabbing spree and just stabbed 3 random people in one day. Just walking down the street, just stabbed 3 people. Yeah, not fun. Just 2 guys or 2 girls and a guy just walking down the road, minding their own business, all horribly injured by this guy. So yeah, that's fun. Just days later, he followed 2 young girls home, and he attacked each, and he drank blood directly from the throat of the second girl that he killed. There is evidence that one of the girls actually did manage to attempt to escape after being horrifically attacked, but it did not work. She did not get away. At this point, he chose to change his murder weapon because he'd been using the sharpened scissors, and the police had begun to put together that one killer was committing all of these crimes because of the similar weapon used. So he switched up to a hammer. He decided, it'll throw the police off my scent, and it did for a little while, but he assaulted at least four young women with his hammer, killing 2 of them. And the last victim only survived because the hammer broke, and he ran off when it broke. So, buy a better hammer. Don't go Harbor Freight, guys.
No.
That's the moral we're taking.
That's my takeaway. That's my takeaway.
Here at Late Night Legends. Don't do that.
I'm old school. I was thinking MC Hammer, right? Please, Hammer, don't hurt him.
I was wondering if it had anything to do, because I couldn't remember the name of that Beatles song, but I just know my name's in it.
Maxwell Silverhammer.
Maxwell, yeah, there we go. I was like, my name's in it. I don't like that song. So,
so now the cops are actually they're actively looking for him. He is the scariest guy in this region of Germany. The summer of 1929. The police had pieced together this string of seemingly unrelated attacks, had to have been committed by a single perpetrator. And this theory was corroborated by a series of correspondence that Peter had undertaken with a local communist newspaper. He actually sent them a series of letters confessing to the murders. And his final murder victim, he did attack more people, but he failed to kill anybody further. His final victim was actually a 5-year-old girl. And he killed her and just dumped her body in some bushes next to a factory. It says that after she passed, he did stab her another 34 times. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. Not a nice guy.
No, he's yucky. Boo.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, nothing good to say about that.
No.
Along with the map he had drawn for the police for the first letter that he had sent, other maps and notes that he had sent to this newspaper corroborated what he had said before. In fact, they received one of the letters the afternoon that they had found one of his previous victims, and rather than investigate, now they had effectively a confession saying that this is the guy that did it. So yeah, pretty scary stuff. That he had time to go home, write the letter, send it, and it was delivered before they found the body. Because the entire country was on alert for him, and the cops were looking under every stone. Anything that could lead them to his arrest was being pursued pretty aggressively. After his final murder victim, he committed a spat of 10 further hammer attacks. No one was killed, but he was visible enough to each of his victims that he could be reasonably identified to the police. And following that, he attempted to lure a woman into his home. And then after she refused to enter his home, he tried to lower her to an uninhabited park after she had figured out sort of what this guy was doing. Because, I mean, he's everywhere in the news, so she had her ears perked up, I guess. She managed to escape partway through her attack by claiming that she wouldn't be able to remember his address or name. So she convinced him to let her go. But she lied. She totally remembered that shit. So, you know what she did? Anybody?
Turned him in.
No.
She wrote a letter?
She wrote a letter.
Let's go.
Not to the police.
Oh.
To the communist newspaper?
No, just to her friend.
Okay.
Oh.
But she misaddressed it. And that led to it being read by the post office staff. So, I mean, I guess mail fraud saves lives, but maybe just in this case. But because the way she described the attack, as it was relayed to the police, matched what they'd suspected that Peter Kürten was doing, they pounced on it. They found her and they asked her, where did this go down? And she led them to his apartment building and led him inside, where the landlord agreed, this is who it is and this is where he lives. But he was there and he saw the police in the hallway, so he escaped out the back. And because he felt that he was going to be captured one way or the other, he decided to confess to somebody. Can anybody guess who he would confess to?
His wife?
His wife.
Oh.
He was married to that same woman the entire time.
Oh.
Yeah. After she sent him to prison for essaying one of their maids. So
did she just not want to file the paperwork? Is this because if this is the
the late 20s, yeah.
I don't know if she would be allowed to.
I'm not sure what her rights would have been, but I think he would have been able to be like, just go out of here and don't come back.
Maybe if she's Catholic or something.
Well, yeah.
But presumably it is her candy store still. She could be like, just don't come back here.
She's
this isn't your marzipan anymore.
She's like, for better or for worse, I guess.
I guess. I would, maybe she had an ideal and she was kind of scared of him, because I could also see that being a thing.
Yeah. Well,
he sounds
or maybe she just
scary.
really loved him.
Well.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a good
Maybe she did too.
That's why she had him sent to jail for essay. You're right.
Just
I forgot.
so he wouldn't do it again.
Oh, yeah. I've never heard that from a guy.
But at his urging, she did turn him into the police. And he didn't urge her to do it because he felt any sort of remorse or any sort of duty to turn himself in. He urged her to turn him in so she could get the reward money. That's it. That's the only reason. Just, hey, you could live a nice, long, rich life with this reward money.
You got 2 maids already.
So, I don't know. Living the candy shop life is just he was arrested. Pardon me. He was arrested at gunpoint, and he later confessed all of his crimes, as well as to several that had not been connected to him at this point. During his internment and later while awaiting his trial and later his execution, he detailed his life, his motives, and the killings to a journalist. He stated that his motives were both for gratification and to strike back, in his words, to strike back at an oppressive society. He felt that society had been unjust to him throughout his life, including his childhood, all of his incarcerations, and his isolation that he felt in adulthood. But one of the things he did in prison was he intentionally misbehaved in order to get solitary confinement. So did he feel like the isolation was something that was a punishment, or did he feel like it was something that he wanted? You know, it's kind of contradictory on that. He denied none of the charges against him, even the most egregious ones. He just said, yeah, well, I did that. And most of the time there's corroborating evidence that could place him at the scene, or he knew details that weren't available to the public. So he was tied to each and every one of the murders that he was charged with. And he was determined to be sane by a group of psychologists and doctors. At the time, this was a relatively new field of study. I mean, if you think about it, Freud was just a few decades before this, so it was a big to-do to get a bunch of psychologists to agree that this man was actually sane and in control of his own actions and fit to stand trial. But they did arrive at that conclusion. During his trial, they had purpose-built an iron cage that went up to his shoulders to protect not everybody else from him, but to protect him from the families of the people that he had murdered. So, you know, needed the iron cage treatment. He initially pled not guilty in court, even as his formal confession to the police was read aloud, later on recanting and pleading guilty on all counts. After his confession, he stated that he still loved his wife and that without her, he would have been lost altogether. But, like, what the hell does that even mean? Like, how much worse could he have been without her? Like, that's pretty awful. After 10 days in court, the jury took just 2 hours to deliver a verdict of guilty on 9 counts of murder and 7 counts of attempted murder, and Peter was sentenced to death. He initially wrote a letter begging for pardon from the Minister of Justice, who at the time was a very critical opponent of capital punishment. But the letter was rejected outright. I mean, even if you oppose the death penalty, I think, you know, you're going to be like, you know, come on, guy, you're asking for a bit much. But he was beheaded by the guillotine on the 2nd of July, 1931. Following his death, his head was vivisected, as we discussed at the top, and his brain was removed for examination. No abnormalities were found. He just seemed to have a perfectly normal brain. So, yeah, nothing you can tell, at least not by looking at it with 1930s technology, that there's anything wrong.
I don't know if you mentioned it, and if you did, I'm sorry, I missed it. Did he ever explain why the crucifixion?
It I would guess from what I was reading, because he did say repeatedly he was trying to strike out against society, that it was some sort of perversion of something that society upheld as good and pure.
Okay, because I didn't know if like that, like there's a lot of crosses that like go into vampirism and things like that. So I didn't know if that was like the logical leap for him. Like, did he ever explain, besides like it tasted yummy one time, why he decided to initially do it? Like start drinking blood?
Well, it does explain. That's one of the things I didn't particularly want to read. But it is a sexual thing for him, the blood.
Cool, got it. Yep. Nope. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
There you go.
Good.
I'm not going any further.
Understood.
Yep.
That's fine.
Yep.
Yeah. No. Cool. Wow. Great. Love that.
Yeah.
I don't love it. Sorry. Wait. No. Don't love that. Love that you're not reading it to me.
Okay. No. Right. In fact, he said all of everything he was doing, everything from the arson to the theft to all of that was all sexually gratifying to him. So, yeah, but I mean, he did sit around and watch the firefighters try to put the fire out. So that's it's weird. But I mean, who could resist a man in uniform? Am I right?
Yeah. Even I'm into firefighters. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Charlie.
A couple of other crimes that he confessed to while awaiting trial and his subsequent execution was his first attempt at murder was an 18-year-old girl. According to him, she survived after strangulation. He threw her body into a river.
I thought his first attempt were the two kids at 9.
As an adult.
Okay. I was like attempted in success. I understoed.
Yeah, like the first attempt where he knew death may be the result and
got it. Okay.
This wasn't included in his trial because no evidence of this crime taking place other than his confession exists. The police never investigated it. Nobody ever came forward with it. So that is, according to him, his first crime, but may have been entirely fictitious. Again, we only have his word for it. He also claims that the sister of his that was abused by their father, he also abused in childhood. So his trial was an international event. It made news all over the world. Experts from around Europe came to give their analysis on his mental condition, even the ones that weren't experts that were part of the trial itself. Including all of his minor arrests, he was arrested more than 30 times. So a lot of, probably on a couple episodes of Cops with that many arrests.
You'd think
at
some point they'd stop letting him go.
I think after the first or second one, or maybe a stint in juvie when he was a kid, and things could have been a lot different. But
I love how he got caught stabbing a pig, but that didn't warrant any penalties.
Yeah, no, just
in fairness, if he's like, I'm practicing my butchering in 1920s Germany, they might have gone, okay, I guess. Sure. Weird. Stop doing that on someone's property, but
stab your own pig.
Yeah.
Go stab a pig somewhere else.
Germany has been pretty brutal towards people and animals in their history. More speaking, not even recent history, but more like the witch trials and stuff they had. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it wouldn't fully surprise me if they're like, yeah, just stab your own pigs. Don't stab other people's pigs.
Yeah, go home.
I'm not saying I condone it. Don't stab any pigs. Stop it, everyone.
He committed his crimes. He did his killings while his wife was working in the evenings. It doesn't say what she was doing in the evenings, but
probably making candy.
Well,
they could afford maids, so I'm guessing she was still doing her previous career.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Is she was a convicted prostitute, so she's a bigwig in the industry, I'll say.
I'll take you to the candy shop. No one else was thinking that whole time?
There is a gentleman's club here in Phoenix called the Candy Store, so I was thinking about that the whole time.
Oh.
I mean,
Were you-
not like that, but you know what I mean.
Were you too?
You got somewhere to be?
That's the kind of candy shop she had.
Maybe that was just a cover.
Could have been. Yeah.
Oh, whatever, it was like a Sweeney Todd thing, and she was in on it the whole time.
Could have been.
Oh, that
Yeah.
makes me not want to eat the
Yeah.
candy.
Yeah, it's harder to hide. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it's like blood candy, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, it's just some weird taste.
Peter, stop coming home with these gallons of blood. I got nothing I can do with this.
I mean, gelatin?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. That could be
I
something.
hate that I know that, but
Yeah.
gelatin?
Yeah.
And that had to have been big at that time too, right?
I would think so. Yeah, sounds like an old timey treat.
Jello sounds like an old-timey
No,
treat.
like there's a ton of stuff that people used to eat with gelatin in it that they just don't eat anymore.
Like Turkish Delight or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's true.
He's afraid to eat Jello now because Bill Cosby did all the commercials.
Yeah, that is dangerous now.
I didn't know that. I was just gonna say I think Jello's a yummy treat, but now I'm upset. Thanks. Frank would like us to know that he has some musical knowledge, and he has said, "Try the priest," which is a line from Sweeney Todd. So thank you, Frank, for your musical knowledge.
And if anyone's interested to hear his final words, I've got them in front of me. They're not pleasant.
Let's
Okay,
hear 'em.
Oh,
Okay.
you're selling it.
Tell me, after my head is chopped off, will I still be able to hear, at least for a moment, the sound of my own blood gushing from the stump of my neck? That would be the pleasure to end all pleasures.
And then you say no. And you bop him first on the head. You go bop. And
You
you go
just
no.
shove cotton in his ears.
I
Like,
was
no,
about
you
to
get
say,
nothing.
like, we're plugging those suckers up.
He was immediately asked, "Wouldn't you like to have some other final words?" To which he responded, "No." And that was the end of him.
Oh,
Yay.
I mean,
yay.
commend the guy for being true to himself all the way through. Not saying he was good and that's good, but like he no take backs.
Charlie, I don't know if we need to be on brand all the time.
Well, there's not much you can do to backpedal from where he was. Like,
Yeah, it's not like you're getting up there and they're setting up the guillotine. It's like, I take it all back and I'm sorry. Ew.
It'd be nice.
After I
It'd be nice
confessed,
to hear, and I'm sorry.
confessed and then pled not guilty.
He did do all that confessing, and then he was convicted, and he's like, oh, guys, no.
Yeah.
Wrote a whole letter.
Yeah, but like kind of half-assed. He didn't like appeal it even. He just like wrote one letter, "Hey,
Well,
please
you
don't
said
kill
he
me."
was like into the punishment portion of it too.
Yeah,
so like
so-
there have been other cases of other serial killers who've been put on like death row or something, and they will try for two different reasons. One is to get the glory of it. The others are try to see if they could feed information to the police, and then they can be taken off. But they'll like confess to crimes they didn't commit. And not even like under like torture, they'll just like confess to things. So like I wonder if part of that was like, ooh, wanting more punishment. But once it's like, well, you're getting the death penalty, it's like, oh.
Oh, crap.
I went too far.
Yeah.
Can't we just do some, tie me to a post or something? I don't know.
When he got out of jail so many times for other crimes, he probably thought, oh, I'll get out of this one too.
Yeah, he might well have done.
Yeah.
Just routine at this point.
It seems like
Yep.
he confessed just
So-
to boast about it.
I think so too, but I did filter out a lot of the stuff that he confessed to that there was not evidence for. I only left in a lot of the ones that there was corroborating evidence for. And there were actually a few that I did leave out too, because it didn't really further the story very much. They're just like, oh, and the next day he did another one, and the next day he did another one. So,
DJ
Do you think he
Khaled
would have
all over
had
the
his
place.
wife turn him in if there wasn't a reward?
yeah, he just, I would hope she would, but I don't know. I couldn't find any evidence anywhere either of
Yeah.
whether she got the reward money either. Like,
Oh.
I would hope she did, but like,
Do we hope she did? Do we
Well.
actually hope she did? Let's think about this.
Well, I don't
She
know.
needs to expand that brothel.
Well, she is the
Candy
only one that
shop.
turned him in, and she did technically turn him in twice. So, you know, there really are no heroes in this story. So she's the closest that we get, I guess.
Oh, that's okay. And the firefighters in uniform.
Yes.
That's another hero that we can have.
Yeah, I'll take that one. We don't know any of their names, but
Do you think?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think that when she heard that her husband was being sentenced to death, that she was like genuinely upset that he was gonna die because she loved him, or do you think she was like, no, don't do it?
no, please don't. Don't. No.
She showed up with her new fiance to the beheading.
Probably trying to get
Yeah.
ticket.
Yeah, well, she
Oh my
had to
God, it
shoot
was-
him too.
It was the long con. She killed one fiance and she was just like, okay, I'm not really a commitment girly. So
She's
like,
like, I'm gonna
who's
do
a
it
guy?
again.
Who's a guy that I don't have to get in trouble for because he's already doing it to himself? You. No, that's awful. All of that's bad. Yuck.
Yeah, not pleasant. Not pleasant in the slightest.
No.
If anybody's interested, there are actually 4 films about him. One made the year he was executed. So
Oh.
yeah,
Wow.
Marathon.
yeah, we can marathon that. Like after we do our Twilight watch, we can watch one of those.
I want to do Twilight after. I will lead a palate cleanser piece.
Wait, Twilight's a palate cleanser?
Yeah.
For this, yeah.
It's a cinematic masterpiece. I don't know what you're talking about.
Vampire to vampire. It all makes sense.
Oh, it's
I mean,
thematic consistency.
Yeah.
This is the
do you
skin
think
of
he
a
sparkled
killer,
in the
Bella.
sunlight?
No, only because he was covered in blood. So, speaking of that, and trying to be a little bit more of a palate cleanser because we're on the topic of vampires. Has anyone seen Nosferatus?
No.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. Sorry, I want to see it. But anyway, back to this. I was trying to help.
500 live rats. They used for the movie.
Oh, I was like, that's a fact about what, Charlie? Charlie's just announcing like what he wants for Christmas. I don't know what's
That's all
going
I
on.
want to see. I want to see the 500 live rats.
What was that movie, Willard? Where they, with all the rats?
Oh.
With, what's his name? The dad from Back to the Future. Crispin Glover.
Oh, right. I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, it was a weird movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, his head wound up after World War II, getting bought by the good people at Ripley's Believe It or Not, and they have it on display in the Wisconsin Dells, the home of family fun and water slides and also severed mummified heads.
There's
Now we
something
have to
about
take a trip to
Ripley's
Wisconsin.
museum, though.
What's
Sorry,
up?
what was that, Tim?
So we have to take a trip to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, for that.
yeah.
I've never seen the inside of a head before, have you?
Yes.
In a biology class?
Yeah.
I've seen photos, but I want to see it up close.
I mean, not a human brain, but I've seen slices. Actually,
Well,
have I
yeah,
seen
we all did
slices of a human
biology, but
brain?
not human. In person.
I've been to the bodies exhibit.
Yeah.
The bodies exhibit was good.
I like how Maria just casually threw a yes in there, but did not expand whatsoever.
Yes.
Maria, would you like to explain why you've seen a human brain?
Anatomy
head?
class. We were assigned a corpse. So, yeah,
Oh, wow.
Oh,
I'm in the
there
medical
you go.
field.
I like how somebody's like, has anybody seen the inside of a human head? And Maria goes, yes,
Yeah.
that is
Today.
all.
Nice drop.
An hour ago.
Uncle Pete was up to his old tricks.
Oh.
I don't want to call him Uncle Pete.
I don't
No. He doesn't get that nomenclature.
He had 12 brothers and sisters. Theoretically, I mean, statistically, he's got to be an uncle.
Okay, but he's not my Uncle Pete.
he's our Uncle Pete.
No, comrade. No, he is not. We do not claim him.
Some of like the descriptions, like I kept being reminded of like Hannibal Lecter for some reason. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, big
Especially
time.
with like that thing that like he was, I don't know, that thing that was protecting him from everyone else. I was like, oh, it's like that scene. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, but I got to feel like if I was the judge and I sentenced him to death, I'd just be like, just take the Iron Curtain down, just take the cage away, and just let whatever happens happen. I don't know, just feels like better justice to me.
Right? You're like, we don't even have to schedule anything. Here you go.
Yeah, it's less work on our part this way.
It's a palate cleanser for the families.
We're coming up on an hour. We're gonna move into some final thoughts. I'm gonna have Colin go last since he is the presenter today and Frank's not here. So who would like to share their final thought first?
I guess I'll go.
You made sounds first, so you win.
Okay. Okay, maybe this is just my horrible morbid curiosity, but the first person that he crucified, you said she was the body was dismembered then crucified.
Mm-hmm.
How does one dismember and then crucify? Because you kind of need the members to do the crucifixion, to my understanding.
So you're asking questions. I want you to really think, do you want answers?
See, I get it, kind of. But
he just wants to know it mechanically. Just mechanically.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like I have a problem. I can't square the circle.
I'm glad this is math to you.
we know he had a hammer, so all he needed was nails. So
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
All right. I guess that's my final thought.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you. Anyone else like to go?
I can go. My final thought is, wow. I think we're seeing a pattern here with Colin, so maybe somebody check on Colin.
Please.
That was a very upsetting story.
I'm sorry.
But we've made it out on the other side. Join us live next as we watch Twilight so we can all go to bed and have sweet dreams. I don't have much else to say.
Maria or Tim, would you like to go? Okay.
So disappointed. Okay. Yeah. I might have nightmares tonight. No, it's just very I'm just okay, I'm just gonna ignore all the traumatic stuff, and I'm wondering if like that Ripley's museum or anything has like any hauntings or anything that like people say that might be tied to that head being there.
Be interesting to look up.
Yeah.
Like that.
Thank you, Maria. Tim, would you like to go?
Sure. I mean, I really think that after hearing this, you watch a lot of different serial killer documentaries and, look at the history of it. It feels like there's a lot of commonalities with, this and the others, like with the cruelty to animals and some of the other things that happen. And, as tragic as these things are, I feel like it'd be nice if we could take some of these as indicators and find a way to, try to stop these things before they happen instead of getting to the point where, you got 30 victims and 10 people that die before anything happens from it. But
yeah,
I don't think we're there yet.
No, unfortunately not.
Predictive AI, maybe soon, right?
Yeah.
We'll be Minority Report.
Yeah, Minority
Yeah.
Report. Just fewer Tom Cruises, please.
Yeah.
Need the psychic twins.
Okay. My final thought is if you were keeping track in my head for the Spotify playlist for this episode, it would start with Maxwell's Silver Hammer. It would go by the Beatles, then go to the Candy Shop by 50 Cent. And then you would go into Try the Priest from Sweeney Todd, the musical. And then finally, it would land on just not a song, but just DJ Khaled going, another one. Just every time Colin was saying something that upset me, which was a lot of times tonight.
Yeah.
I want to add on to Joan's final thought that if you have a good song that represents this episode, please put it in the comments so we can make a playlist.
Or if not this episode, maybe a different episode. I would understand if you're like, I don't want to do it to this one.
Yeah, do we have a music channel on the Late Night Legends Discord that the viewers can join and chat
That'd
with
actually
us?
be really cool if we don't.
Oh my God. Do we have, we don't have a music channel, but you were saying something so interesting, Charlie, about how we have a Discord. And actually, it's linked in every episode for the past 3 episodes. But it's linked in every episode in the description down below, down there. So if you watch Frank put me someplace completely different.
He's going to turn you upside down.
He turns me upside down. It's up there. Down in the description, if you would love to join and talk to us on your free time and on our free time, feel free to click that link and join our Discord. You can also find us on other social media platforms such as X, Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, and you can rewatch this on YouTube. That being said, what else do I have to tell you guys? Oh, you can listen to us wherever you find podcasts. Colin, what is your final thought?
So I chose this topic because I actually saw a picture of his head in a thing online about, hey, things you never thought you'd see. And I picked the topic. I wrote down what I was going to do. I did a quick little research on what it was and said, hey, I'll do that. And then when I started to actually write the script for it, I realized that I had made a terrible mistake. And it's what I said here was bad. What he did is so much worse. It is just horrifying. I will lose sleep over this topic. and I apologize to everyone. But, we got to learn about Peter. Good old Uncle Pete.
No, yeah, we'll workshop that one.
Pizza.
Charlie, don't give it an accent. It makes it worse. That being said, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank your friends for listening, or tell a friend, tell your mom. I say hi, I think. I don't know. What is Frank saying? He's like saying hi to everyone's mom. We're going to talk about that in a meeting later, but you know what? Tell your cousin Jeff in particular that we miss him and we wish he'd come around more often, especially during family dinners. It's been a while. That being said, I hope everyone has a great night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.